We're going to be talking about the proper name of this place. We're going to be talking about somebody who we're very, very familiar with. If you're watching live right now on Facebook, you can see about a fraction of his face. And that is Brian, who's now running the 7 Points Brewery. We've got Chris from the Stella Pasta Bar and Bistro, and that's all coming up in the next few seconds.
The Capital Brew Podcast with 20 North Dave and Nick Lee. What's brewing in the 518?
What you guys don't know is we just played a little intro there.
Makes sense.
We have music, we have a voice guy, the whole nine. So
love it.
We do?
Yeah, we do.
I thought you said you weren't going to edit it.
Well, I just dropped that in there.
Wait, I thought this was live. How are you editing?
Well, we're not going to edit that. They're not going to hear it.
Oh, hello.
I don't even know if there's anybody there.
Definitely not.
They.
What do you think? Somebody's just sitting around waiting for us?
All right, so let's go back in time. Let's go back to a time where Stella was in, I believe, Ballston Spa.
But just down the road, Burnt Hills.
Burnt Hills. That's right. Closer to you than me.
Yeah, that's where I live and went to high school.
There we go. And you were at a location that was owned by somebody else.
Castle Farms.
Bingo.
And
which is an institution in Burnt Hills.
Certainly.
And then, for whatever reason, you guys closed down and take it from there.
Yeah. COVID times were a little nutty. Our takeout business really got us through that. But also, we took it as an opportunity to go month to month with the leasing situation. Got through all of 2021, and then in 2020 we were informed our lease was not going to be renewed. So we were essentially a restaurant without a home. After establishing ourselves 5.5 years in Burnt Hills, really became part of the community over there. So it was a little bit of a shock to us, but we knew we wanted to keep this thing going. So we were looking everywhere for a home. We wanted to be as close as possible. It was real tough to find a place that was available for purchase or lease. There's plenty of places that are empty, not operating right now, like Pig and Whistle right around the corner from Castle, but they were all scooped up by investors, in 2020 that are able to sit on it, not just pay the monthly fees. And so we were a little disheartened in the beginning, but shortly after, thanks to our weekly newsletter, which you can sign up for at stellapastabar.com.
Awesome.
A little email that my mom started back in 2017, and we just send it weekly with specials on it. And we got to March, and we said, hey, this is going to be the last email for a while. We're going to have to close down for a bit while we try and find a new permanent home. That email made its way over to the McDonald's here at Mad Jack at that point, and they said, hey, come down, take a look. It was the end of March when we looked at this place for the first time, and just a perfect spot. And honestly, if that was just one big giant patio out there with no brewery, it still would have been an amazing move, 14 minutes away, perfect dining space, event space upstairs and in the side room. But the brewery was kind of the cherry on top.
Yeah, I was very close to having this podcast last week, and I was like, we're going to do it on a patio. I was going to see if we could do it on a patio. It was so beautiful last week, but guess what? This weekend is going to be phenomenal, too, at least Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, can't complain about that weather, man.
And,
we're not here to talk about the weather, though, right?
No, well, it's
come on.
Patio season. What's better than sitting on the patio drinking a beer?
It's a huge sell, just a little bit of sunshine out there. It was one of the realms here that we could really control ourselves. It was power washing, spray painting the seats, and waiting for the sun, where there's a lot of aspects. Getting our brunch program started, waiting for our cocktail program to go off. If there are anyone at the State Liquor Authority listening to this, I got something for them. But
don't worry about that.
Yeah, so those things are things that we got to wait for the right circumstances. The patio is let's get this thing going. And last week it was a mob scene out there, especially on the weekend.
Yeah,
10 tables out there, 10 tables full, people sitting at the bar waiting for them to open up. So
it was nuts.
Yeah.
A patio nowadays, if you're opening a restaurant, is
clutch.
I mean, it's not
some
necessarily
sort of
a breaker
seating.
of deals,
Yeah.
but let me tell you, if you don't have it, you're at a huge disadvantage.
I was looking at, as you know, I was telling you that I handle analytics and whatnot for the Rivers Casino. One of people I keep an eye on what's going on social, what people are looking at, what people are interested in, and I can't tell you how many people locally Google food with patio or a restaurant with a patio, and like I don't know if anybody else at this table knows. I know Dave knows because I sent it to him. He ended up being one of the top 5 establishments in the Schenectady area Googled. So congratulations on that. 20 North Broadway.
Yeah.
Do you have anything on the soundboard for a little, like, a pause?
Even if he did, he wouldn't get it right. He would hit every wrong button till
Oh, my
then.
God. There it is! Yay!
9 tries later.
All right, enough of that.
Well, I would say this, like, for people who have never been here or haven't seen the inside of
It's
this
beautiful.
establishment, it is one of the nicest decorated and woodworked establishments I've ever been in. And I don't know if Chris has got any more history about this building. I know Brian has some. But in my knowledge, when it was known as a jazz place across the United States, I think I've even seen that the famous Thelonious Monk, I think is that how you say his name?
Yeah,
I believe so.
Has actually played in this building.
a nationally renowned club.
Jazz club.
Place was originally the Van Dyke Hotel and Lounge.
Yeah.
A fellow named Marvin Freeman came up from Harlem, and he opened it up as a space to, there was lodging, there was a bar, but like the music was really the star of the show. And he had all the connections down in the city. He was bringing people in between, like New York, Washington, Philly. They would stop in Schenectady and play. They would get a lounge. They would play. And my favorite tidbit about Marvin is, like, he wasn't in the kitchen cooking. He wasn't behind the bar. He wasn't playing tunes. He was a hospitality guy.
Yep.
And as the guy here that, I could not tell you how to brew a beer. If I was the one making the chicken parmesans, you would never, ever want to come to Stella Pasta Bar. But there is that, other element where you just take care of the people that are, honoring you by coming into your establishment. There's 100 quality places in the capital region. So people come in and, there's that history here of taking care of them. I'm just trying to start there, and then from there, we have the event space upstairs that is going to double as a kind of like a music lounge as well.
Which I believe, it did during the McDonald's tenure.
Yeah.
They had some pretty good. They actually had some really good acts up there.
Yeah.
I saw several in my youth.
There you go.
Yeah, one of my favorites was when they would do the 10-piece big band orchestra up there. I mean, you could hear it down the street. It was amazing.
Yeah,
so
there was some
great
really good times
acoustics
up there. So it's got a good reputation for not just its beer at this point, but just as a legendary location.
Yep.
Yeah, and we're definitely looking to get back there once we do get everything renovated up there. So that's
do you
on the horizon.
Plan on keeping that the old bar that's up there too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was told recently that is
Like the
that
old-
bar that was the original bar down here.
Oh.
They got it down here from the Grand Union Hotel up in Saratoga.
Oh, wow.
And that's like late 1800s, early 90s. So you can imagine some real,
Real history.
striped suit, cigar smoking folks sitting at that place and making some, interesting moves. So the history is up there. I moved in back in October, and we were looking at it through the spring, summer. And with the history, the more we found out, I was like committed to saying, let's make the best jazz club in America and put in all the foundations, the lighting, and make it permanent. My partner, my stepfather, John, who's also our executive chef, and my general manager, they said, that'd be great, but what about the weddings, the graduations, the retirement parties, the big events that are really in this industry,
Your bread and butter.
bingo. Yeah. So the goal now, and what we kind of settled on, is a flexible space, because you're not going to have those weddings, those big event things, every night of the week. So to set it up in jazz mode, smaller tables, dim lights, standing space, the cocktails and everything, and then be able to switch to those bigger events, it's awesome. But just needs a little bit of love up there first, which we are going to be doing over the summer, one step at a time.
For those joining live on Facebook that we finally got up and running, we've got Chris here from the Stella Pasta Bar and Bistro, where we're in Schenectady. We also have Brian, who is the main brewer here at the Seven Points, which is part of Stella Pasta Bar and Bistro. And thanks for joining us on Facebook.
I figured if I called it like Stella Brewery or something, I'd have the Artois people send me a letter real quick.
You'd have Anheuser-Busch after you.
So you see,
they're pretty riled up right now.
The Stella logo here features a lovely star, which happens to have 7 points.
I like it.
Once I thought about that, I was like, all right, I can stop searching for brewery name ideas.
So what got you into the restaurant business in the first place, Chris?
That would be my mother, Lisa. God bless her. Mom passed a couple of years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It was always her goal to have more than a restaurant, to be part of a community, to really establish ourselves somewhere, make those lasting relationships, all while taking advantage of the fact that chef's a pretty damn good cook.
Yes.
So Mom and John almost got something going back in 2008 when I was still in high school. And one thing came to another, didn't quite work out. Then my mom actually got sick for the first time back in 2008. When I was 17, my sister was 9. She said, not going to have it. So breast cancer survivor, 12 years. And then in 2020, complications from the first surgery. It comes back, and it could be more aggressive the second time. But, it's incredible. This place feels so much like a culmination of everything Mom, dreamt of. And it's our way to stay close to her. And looking through into the potential this place has, the visions for the lounge, when we get the cocktails going, more just established in the community and the capital region as a whole here at the Van Dyke, it's like, this is what she dreamed of, So to end up here,
that's excellent.
It's very nice, yeah.
I think if she had the opportunity to eat here, she'd be blown away.
Oh my God, yeah. Just the first time we came in, just the look of everything,
the food, the atmosphere, the way that you run things, keeping a hold of Brian, that you seem to make a lot of sound decisions.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Proud to say that Stella and 7 Points is family owned and operated.
Yeah.
This is our building, our parking lot, our brewery, and it goes a long way to just a feeling of security, especially with how the last spot ended up being essentially forced out. To now, instead of plans being for like a year or two ahead, and those are in the pipelines too. There's 5-year plans, 10-year plans, 20-year plans, so it's very exciting. That's how we ended it up here. I was going to be a silent partner back in 2016 when Stella was opening up in Burnt Hills. And we had a soft opening, and we kept on 2 of the servers that were at the Forecastle Country Store doing the little breakfast thing in the morning that was a little more low stakes than what we were trying to do. And it was crazy that first week, and no one could operate the little kegerator that we had, and I was doing this and that, and honestly my buddy and his girlfriend at the time were in Seattle, and I had a brand new luggage that I just bought because I was gonna dip out that fall, and ended up sticking around, and now I'm gonna be the next ghost in this building. But no, couldn't have written it a better way. And like I was saying earlier, we would have done it if it was just the restaurant and event space, but the brewery here gives us a whole nother realm to kind of work with. It's not really one more than the other. They all support each other, and that was the goal. And a little over 6 months into it. 6 months was this past Thursday, the 13th. Went by like that,
Oh yeah,
applause. You gotta hit that applause, man.
Oh yeah. True. Thank you.
Now he knows what button it is.
I'm a little rusty. No, I'm gonna. It's this is just really impressive. I mean, what, 32, 33 years old?
31 last I checked.
31.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not the best at math. Yeah. But I'm 43 years old, and I'm just a big kid, and I don't. I'm looking over there. I'm like, hey man, boobs.
It's true, but don't hit your knee on them.
No,
I've done that a couple too many times in 6 months.
Wooden boobs on the bar, but it's just really impressive. I don't think I could have done as good of a job as you did.
Appreciate that. Well, I mean, chef down at the end of the bar is a huge part of that. He's got the techniques in the kitchen. He has a good eye on the books, so that I'm like learning as we go.
Yeah, but when I was here, when I came with the beautiful Jessica, you were walking around, you were working the crowd, you were talking to people, you were very, very personal. There's only 2 bars that do that or 2 places in Schenectady that do that very well, and both of the owners are sitting at this table. So
appreciate that. Yeah, cheers. Good company.
Speaking of which, I did a podcast that you couldn't make it to at the Speckled Pig in Ballston Spa. And I was like, yeah, my co-host is part owner over at 20 North. He's like, you got to tell him that guy with the beard is doing a great job. He keeps sticking me, like, you know the guy with the pens? I was like, yeah, that's Dave. That's my co-host. He's like, what? He's like, you got to get him down here. I tried bringing you there for your birthday, but you wouldn't.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to go to Redux
lately,
version.
It's tough.
I was just at the Speckled Pig last Friday.
Phenomenal.
Great little place.
The pizza is did you have the My Boy Blue?
No, I think I had the 3 Little Pigs.
That's also great.
Yeah.
Is that the one with the pineapple?
Yes.
Oh,
yep.
so good.
Pineapple, bacon, something else.
Probably ham.
Yeah.
Something around
If I
there.
had
I don't
to
know.
guess.
What's that?
Probably ham if I had to guess.
Well, yeah, ham, bacon,
I ate it so
pepperoni.
quick I couldn't tell you what was on it.
It's so good.
It was a meat. It was a pinkish meat.
Yes.
Oh, phenomenal. Yeah, have you been?
I have not. They have an excellent social media presence, though.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yeah, good people over there. Larry is one of the owners over there. He's the one I talked to. But enough about them. Let's talk about Stella. How do you put together your menu?
That is, the start was the fresh pasta. That was the goal. Italian was John, my mom's passion for cooking. So that really was a direction that made sense. We had a amazing baker with us in the beginning, Bill, who worked with John at a couple of different establishments. John was cooking in the Capital Region for like almost 10 years, just getting a feel for everything before we started something, of our own again. And Bill had some of the great recipes, the Italian bread recipe, the pasta recipe, and just another unfortunate case. Bill passed a couple months into the observation. He was a veteran. He was cooking in a bunch of different states. He was over here and having a hard time getting on his feet. We got him an apartment right over in Burnt Hills, on Blue Barn, like right around the corner from the restaurant. And poor guy, man. He worked like right through it. Didn't want. Is anything wrong? No. And but that is Bill and John's knowledge and passion for the cooking is really how it started up.
Is everything in-house?
Yeah. Oh, the majority of everything.
I mean,
there's
besides
some
the
things,
outside bakers but I mean, it's all fresh, homemade stuff. This
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's quality ingredients. Makes quality food. That's what we've been saying from the beginning. So it starts with John. He's a very meticulous prepper. You don't find many owners coming in at 8, 9 o'clock every day and prepping straight till 2 o'clock, and then the kitchen staff that we have, it's excellent, but it's like, listen, here's everything you need, like just slap together for us, please, in a presentable way, and they do a phenomenal job of that. But yeah, he was definitely the brains of things. But at the same time, the Bistro menu was my brilliant idea. And that's like a weekly rotating special that has a different risotto, a different taco, different burger, occasionally a soup. Right now we have a crostini of the week. It goes really well with that weekly email that we send out, the newsletter. Gets people excited for the week, trying new things. You like the burger one week, you know it's going to be quality another week. You wouldn't expect tacos from a place with pasta in the name, but they are, phenomenal. He knows what he's doing. So
it's worth having on the menu. It's that good.
For sure. And so it's funny because, like I mentioned, I swear to you, I have trouble with Pop-Tarts. Like, I can't cook anything.
He burns cornflakes.
Yeah, bingo. So, and it's just like, I have a terrible internal clock, and I hate following directions. So that just makes you pretty much bad at most things, including cooking. But at the same time, it's like I love to eat, and I watch the customers do it a lot, and I follow a lot of different pages around here trying to get ideas, and I present them to John, and it's a level of trust, I know that he can execute the ideas. He trusts that it's things that I can market and get people to buy. And it's a pretty solid relationship that we got that way.
Sure, I can relate with that. Like myself, I'm a tinkerer in the kitchen, so like consistency is probably a problem of mine. That I'm always changing the recipe, always tweaking things, always trying to whatever I feel like eating that day is what's going to pretty much go into that dish. So, to have somebody who can consistently put out the same product that's homemade every day, that's pretty impressive.
Well, what an incredible segue to 7 Point Brewery.
Actually, let me.
All right, hold tight.
I have a question.
You're in charge of the segues.
I have a question for you. what do you say to somebody who says, well, how are you going to pair beer with your dishes? I mean, what kind of approach do you give when talking to a guest?
We haven't quite reached the linking the individual beer to the dish, which is like something that we want to do when we have the right lineup, and once we find the right flow of busy season, slow season, when parties are happening, when they're not. We have a side dining room that can do about like 45 people. Like a beer paired venue is something we've had some initial discussions on, But right now...
That's coming up. That's down the road.
And it's kind of hard for me. I just passed 1,000 days without a drink myself.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Appreciate that. And not many people on that path buy a brewery midway through it.
Or own a bar.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. I let people know, I say, man, we sell a lot of the Pilsners. Do you like something similar? But really, just having them there, having them on the list, on the table, they pretty much sell themselves.
Oh, for sure.
It's a nice part of it, Yeah. And people have one sip, they're sold. That's the quality side.
Like I told Brian, and I tell Dave all the time, I don't know how much these people say stuff to your face, but people hold you in very high regard behind your back. For sure. I know for sure. I just don't know how.
That's a nice way to put that.
How am I supposed to take that? I mean, come on.
I hope they do it to your face, but I'm not around you when others.
No, I mean, so one of our bartenders here, Jill, she's been here for a number of years. Maybe she's watching right now. She's got nothing else to do. She's just home.
Oh yeah, there we go.
She's just home
Maybe
watching.
She has hobbies. That's pretty harsh, man.
Her hobbies should be looking out to see if this podcast is going live.
That's no one's hobby.
Yeah,
nor will it ever be.
It is. We got people waving.
Yeah. But one of her favorite sayings is, "I talk so much shit to your face. If I stop talking shit to your face, start being worried."
Yeah.
Because
There's
that means I start to talk behind your back. Yeah. So I worry a little bit when you just said what you just said there. That's no such thing as bad press, though, right?
No.
Everyone,
people speak very highly in your ability to produce a beer.
Well, I appreciate that. Maybe one of these days they can actually look me in the face in public and give me a thumbs up or something. That'd be nice.
Give this man a thumbs up.
Yeah, well, and we do a lot for my self-esteem.
Just give him a wave, everyone. Just give him a nice big fat wave.
Yeah.
Hey, hi. No, not like that.
You might handle it like Dave. When somebody starts giving you a compliment to your face, you just get all, don't shut up. We're not talking about that right now.
You got other stuff to think about.
Don't worry, this never happens, so I wouldn't know how to react.
Now, would you say, since we've already interviewed Brian, that we can skip a couple of our usual? Yes, we can.
I want to try these. I want to try the new beers.
Questions. And
Nick thought you were going to skip beers.
Yeah, no, we're not skipping beer.
Yeah. No, we'd be like.
I want to know what the crowd pleaser is now.
Generally,
I want to drink it.
Okay, slow down. Generally, we'll get into background information on Brian, but we've already kind of done that.
Yeah. If you don't,
so I was
if you don't know,
say,
just a guy.
I was going to say,
That's it.
If you've listened to this podcast before, I don't even know what to say to that.
Believe it or not, we have a website where you can go and listen to that podcast.
But we don't necessarily need to cover that ground again.
What is the website?
I have no idea.
It's the capitalbrewpodcast.com.
I've never been on it.
And if you're lazy, I also bought Capital
I'm lazy,
Brew.
but I still wouldn't be on it.
If you're lazy, I also bought capitalbrewpodcast.com because you didn't want to put the "the" in front of it.
The.
Do you think Mariah Carey goes on mariahcarey.com? I don't know. I doubt it. Talent doesn't need to see that.
Well,
Talent doesn't watch its own movies.
Do you know we do blogs?
Right?
Have you ever read any
of our
blogs?
Blog?
That's where we do a write-up.
Blog is a thing from 2011.
Yeah.
No, seriously, what's a blog?
Is that part of my Zanga website or
basically
GeoCities, perhaps?
It's a synopsis. It's a cliff notes of the podcast.
A what? Oh, all right. Like
cliff
what?
Notes.
But like edited, or is it like written?
It's written.
Oh, okay.
You can
all
have
right.
Google
This guy
do
just
that for
opened
you.
Alta Vista.
I wasn't trying to bust your balls. I really don't know what that is.
I will show you. You're about to see a blog. It may be your first time. So there's some images.
God.
See how there's some photos.
Did you do that, or did like someone else do that?
The beautiful Jessica took these photos. Look, it's me. You know who that was?
I know that guy.
That's
a nice looking pie.
Thanks. Or I didn't make it, but I agree. The other guy was Aaron from the what is he? He's from Craft Point. He was over at Frog Alley.
Oh, yes.
And he moved out of there. He's currently looking for a place to start a new brewery. But yeah, that's
very cool.
That's Aaron from Craft Point. There's Larry from. And there's my board. I don't know.
Nice board.
Nice shot of that.
You see the write up?
I can
There you
see
go.
the writing.
Yeah.
That's your
as
standard
far as I
blog.
can go. My eyesight's not as great.
That's a blog.
Okay. Great.
Now that you know what the blog is.
I guess so. All right. Moving
Today I
on
learned.
from a blog.
That was Brian's
I'm
background
curious.
portion of the podcast,
He
explaining
gets
blogs.
Very little press. he's already gotten through the rigmarole.
Yes.
But I'm curious, and I already asked this of them, so I already know the answer. But for those of you that are out there, the beers here are not the Mad Jack recipes rehashed. They are all brand new recipes that Brian has come up with. I don't know if you're working with anybody else back in the
I do
brewery.
have a new assistant. He's actually tending bar right now. His name is Nick. He's single, ladies, just in case anyone's asking.
Turn that web.
That'll be in the blog.
Yeah,
We'll have him come over. Have him hop on the mic.
Absolutely,
In the
yeah.
photo.
yeah. As soon as he gets
So-
a fewer people up there, he is a little busy right now.
Yeah,
He's got a job to do.
Yeah,
He was here day one, or at
yeah?
least he was
Yeah,
here
yeah.
that day I came in,
Yeah.
day 4.
I believe
yeah.
he's an old friend of the family's, right?
No, I never met him before my life.
Oh, okay. Well, he knew
came to the
someone.
building?
He just walked in. He was sitting in the bar.
Yeah, he was. Maybe he's the ghost.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, no.
He was. He applied for like the first round of job stuff that we were doing here at the new location, and hit the ground running, and had a little background in the beer world, so it made sense to get you an extra pair of hands, and it's been a good run.
Well, he's just been here so long and gets along with you guys so well. I just always thought he was part of your crew.
Yeah, there you go.
So
Now he is.
yeah, good stuff.
Adopted.
Your last name is now Bar. Barista.
Nick Bar.
Bristow.
Nick Bar.
I can't speak today.
We'll go with that.
What was I going to say? What kind of wood is this? Is this walnut?
Potentially
What do you think?
cherry,
I
maybe.
don't-
Cherry? It might be
I
cherry.
think like the
It does-
color is like cherry-ish.
Well, the grain almost says it's a cherry too. I'm just saying that because like the acoustics in here are horrible right now because of the hard wood that the sounds are bouncing off of. But it's it is what it is. I'll notice this. Other people won't notice.
Please don't mention bad acoustics when you go upstairs for the jazz
Oh
lounge.
no,
please.
no, I've been up there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I think
would-
that's
That might reflect negatively upon our.
Yeah, people
Seriously,
coming in.
who's going to know
Yeah.
on this podcast?
Well, you won't. You're not gonna have walls of
I don't think
mahogany.
famous people are going to be like, oh,
Yes.
listen, I heard these guys.
That podcast sounded like
Right.
trash. I'm not going. I'm not going to see the 8-piece
Right.
jazz
I
band.
wouldn't worry about that.
No, I can't wait for the upstairs. So yeah, obviously you told us off mic that you plan on doing something upstairs, and you're looking for early fall, maybe to.
Yeah, I think so. We have our first wedding that we are committed to already. Good regulars from our previous location followed us over here.
Right.
They were looking for something at the very end of September, and we were like, hey, I'll show you what we got, and I promise you we're going to be working on it for a while. But they were like, listen, we're just so happy you're back. We'll take it. That's where we want to be. So I was like, oh my God, thank you. And it really gives me a big, hard, bright red stop sign. Like, you have to be ready by this.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to do, but it's going to be an excellent space. We have some local interior designers here in the Stockade that are working
Awesome.
with us.
You want to give them a shout out?
Yeah, Susie. Susie and, God, I'm the worst with names. Amber? Maybe I'm wrong. That was a
Fuck
terrible
that.
shout out. Sorry, Susie. But
Stop in. They're gonna drop out some business cards.
yeah, for sure. You'll be able to
And
see
some
how
punches.
beautiful it is.
Yeah. Their
very
work will
soon.
speak for themselves.
We're starting in May, so we haven't quite started yet. So, but yeah, no, it needs just a little love. Not like breaking down walls or.
I was gonna say, if you need a demo guy, I know a guy.
Yeah, please. I'm sure just send Chef up there when he's stressed out. We gotta have it done real quick. But no, thankfully the bones here are so strong
Yes.
and the potential is so huge. We just want to make sure, like I said, if I went full out jazz lounge dim, someone potential bride will look at this place like, what the hell? This is for whiskey and cigars, not for me to get married. So it has to kind of toe the line in between both. So clever lighting. The right use of shades and stuff. There's those big windows here on the facade.
Sure.
But
Big, beautiful old building here.
for sure. That was the word. Ever since we first got in, potential.
Does this still have 2 addresses?
Technically, it is 237 and 235.
Okay.
Where they stitched them up.
Yep.
So when I was here with the Psychics on the Scene people, they were telling us that the one side used to be a brothel. So this was a jazz
nice.
club, and there was a brothel.
Ooh, beautiful.
I don't know if that helps the conversation at all.
Yeah, no,
I don't know where you really go from there.
Yeah.
Just
yeah, this place is really going downhill, I guess.
so anyway,
Well, maybe not for everybody.
man, I used to be able to listen to jazz music and get a
Yep.
hooker. Now I have to.
No, it's jazz
Drink a
music
beer
and
and-
linguine. What the hell? Linguine's good. It's not that good.
I think the beer is probably a little bit better now than it was back in the 20s.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
Just
sure,
a little
sure.
bit.
Out of the
Considering in the
bathtub
20s
and-
there was prohibition, so
Yeah.
we must be doing a little bit better.
Yeah, and on top of it, the water quality back then couldn't have been the best.
Yeah,
Definitely
What do you
not.
got against lead pipes?
Yeah.
Well,
Apparently-
now everybody hates PVC pipes.
Yeah.
You see that from the EPA today? I mean, geez,
No.
what are you supposed to do?
That's my whole house. It's like,
Ah,
God.
jeez.
What about
What
Who's
are
got
you
the
gonna
money? Who's
use?
got the money for stainless steel?
I don't- Oh, that's what they want?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh my God, stainless steel or copper? It's like the only thing that's safe to drink your water from now.
Well, I don't drink the water.
Yeah. No,
I'm
why
a
would
hose
you?
man myself.
Why would you?
Yeah.
So,
Green
Speaking
hose.
of beer,
Yeah, what's your approach to
well, speaking of beer, like you said, we have a whole entire fresh new list of beers. And then we can move right into our usual, your favorite beer, what's coming up, and what's the crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
gotcha. Well, how would I have what's coming up
Well,
available for you here? How can
Well,
I
what's
do
your
that?
newest beer that you have?
well, it could, and, it doesn't necessarily have to be specifically something that's happening. It can be just literally one you put on.
Yeah.
what's
well-
the new kid on the block?
The new kid on the block is probably going to be the Black Pearl. That's
Okay.
our espresso martini stout. Big fan of that one. We did that as a collaboration brew with a couple other local businesses here in Schenectady. We actually used some espresso beans.
That's right. Who did I see you do a collaboration? Was it
So the main brewery that we
was
did
a
the
super
collaboration
collab.
with, super collab, basically.
is Backstreet
The Backstage Pub.
Backstage Pub?
Or as the owner over there likes to call it, the Backdoor Pub. So, because nobody ever pronounces it correctly, so he's just given in. I think he's legally going to change the name of the LLC over there soon.
Well, I think also because I started off with boy bands,
Yeah.
New Kids on the Block.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep, that's the New Kids on the Block Espresso Martini Stout. That's what we made here
Back
today.
to stage.
Yeah.
So, you said you used espresso beans. At
Yes.
what stage and how do you put them in?
Well,
You grind them up?
I can't give away too many trade secrets on
I
that one, Dave.
wouldn't worry. Once
Yeah.
again,
No.
I don't think you're going to have too many competitors listening in on this. All right.
No, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel on that, but well, first I'll give you a little bit of the history of the brew. We came together with a Wolf Hollow Brewing Company.
That's who-
That was our main brewing collaborator there, and then we got a couple different downtown restaurant bars, the Backstage Pub, and also Center Street, right across the street there, right across Erie Boulevard, pretty much our closest possible neighbor, not named Clinton's Ditch. And we also added a fifth element to it with Bittersweet Candy over
Nice.
on J Street.
Yeah.
So she had a lot to say about the addition of chocolate and candy and espresso just in general, because she makes a lot
how much
of really
chocolate
cool stuff
and
over there.
espresso does it take to make? I don't know. Whatever, a bright tank of
More than you could ever know. No, there's a lot in there, enough to the point where my coffee friend sitting here, Chris, is probably just a little bit jealous that he's not drinking one of these beers. It would probably give him an equal amount of caffeine jolt that one of his espresso cups
That's
does.
what I remember.
So-
Brian had one or two when we did the pub crawl for this, because we organized
He's being kind.
a charity pub crawl
Yeah.
for things of my very own
nice.
local community.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no, excellent people over
yeah,
there.
we donate money. Jess and I would donate money. We used to go shopping for them, but then we just started here, take the money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. But
Yeah.
no, they're good people. Met some of them, and we did a little pub crawl. Started over at Backstage, went over to Center Street, $1 from every keg, and we were going to do it for just that one night. But actually,
Kept
we
it
decided
going.
to keep it going until we kick these kegs. So
Yeah.
it'll be a nice little check we cut to them soon.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Excited for that. But yeah, Brian was like, I think you were feeling those coffee
Yeah.
beans after
Yeah.
a few.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
I gotta have a pilsner. I gotta calm down.
So it's a big testament to the I guess to the sixth contributor to the beer, which is Chris's Coffee.
Okay.
They're Albany local,
Yep.
Schenectady local.
Oh,
They
yeah.
provide a lot of businesses
A
around
lot of
here,
services
and
in
we
this area
actually
for
use.
restaurants.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off there.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
We actually use their Black Pearl espresso bean blend as our
Espresso.
My most
espresso.
consumed item here.
Yeah.
In the
I had some when I was here.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
So I mean, it just seemed like a natural fit, and that's how the name of the beer basically got born too. I mean, we were 5 or 6 people sitting around trying to name the beer, and we just looked at the bag and we were like, okay, Black Pearl.
We're all huge Pirates of the Caribbean fans.
Yeah, which one
Oh,
see
that's
Jack
right.
Sparrow?
You know what? That was bothering me.
Yeah.
I just put 2 and 2 together.
I was working on a joke in my head, but it never came to fruition. So let's go ahead and let's.
Well, do you want to try that
Yeah, that's
one
what-
now?
that's what I was gonna
You
say.
wanna
Let's
give
go
that
ahead
one
and
a
try
shot
it.
since we're
Try the
talking about
beer.
is that one
I'm
available?
gonna go grab some samples.
All right, sounds good.
So while he's up, just out of curiosity, do you get the beans ground?
So there's a lot of schools of thought on that, and I'm past the joking phase of trade secret, blah blah blah. I'm not doing anything that anybody hasn't done before when it comes to adding coffee to beer. So I might have tried a couple of different little techniques, but nothing's reinventing the wheel, like I said. So we started with everything whole bean. Fresh bags. We get everything weekly from Chris's Coffee. Cool stuff. And they send us little samples sometimes too, which is neat. And helps my day out. But so what we were doing basically, we were letting the beer ferment. I would say pretty much 90% of the way, and we were drawing some of the beer off into a couple little side vessels that we have. Now we had already placed all the coffee beans in there, purged the entire vessel out with nitrogen CO2 mix to make sure that there was no oxygen in there, because oxygen is a big enemy of the beer towards the end of fermentation. They're best friends in the beginning of fermentation because yeast needs the oxygen to kickstart its process, and everything. And at the end, oxygen is actually a staling agent for beer.
Does it stay like a skunky?
I wouldn't say skunky. Skunky is more of a light struck thing.
Okay.
If UV rays ever kind of pass through your beer, that's how you get that skunky kind of flavor.
What'd you put on top?
So
Some
Chris,
chocolate?
Chris just came back over with a beer.
Thank you.
So this was
Salud.
Heather from Bittersweet's big contribution for our beer. She actually made some espresso Java bark.
Okay.
Some
wow.
chocolate, some
Smells like dark
espresso chocolate. Shaved it up very fine, and now for all of the beers, we are just a little sprinkle
Now
on
is
top.
the espresso the only thing that goes into it, or did you actually put chocolate with the espresso?
So
when
we
you put
actually there was no actual chocolate inside the beer itself.
Okay.
We had several different malt additions. One of which is called chocolate malt, but there isn't actually any chocolate in there.
gotcha.
It's literally just a part of the process,
Yes.
part of the kilning process that gets it nice
But you're
and
getting
dark
a malt.
and roasted.
You're getting that flavor from a malt.
Yes, absolutely.
So just for
Yeah.
people's information out there, they're like,
if they were
some
wondering
people
if
may
there was
think
any
you're
dairy
dropping
in here, there is not.
dropping some Hershey bars into a vat of fermenting beer.
Oh my God,
which
that would
probably
only
The
be
sugar,
delicious,
the
but
alcohol content would be
probably-
through the roof.
That would literally only gum up
Yeah, I
the
was gonna say, it
fermenter.
would destroy,
and,
what you
I
were
would have
trying to
yielded
do.
1 keg out of this entire
Yeah.
thing had I done something like that. So, yeah.
Well, I'm going to go for it now. that
Me
we've
too.
discussed
All
it.
right.
I'm gonna give it a
Well,
try.
hey, cheers here,
I
fellas.
just want a little treat for me.
Yeah. Saluting. We're going to not do that over your expensive
Yeah,
I'm not
board
doing
there.
it. It's exactly why I wasn't going to do that.
Oh, yeah. Yep, I'm going to be up all night. Crap. I mean, if there's anything that a brewer drinks more than beer, it's definitely coffee. So yeah, I'm not as much of a coffee connoisseur as the guy sitting next to me here, but I definitely hold my own in that regard. I've roasted some of my own beans at home before.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I've got probably
That's
about 5
more
or
of
6.
I'm a little bit of a connoisseur. I've never roasted my own beans.
Oh, so easy.
Yeah,
roast-
see,
do you roast your own?
I roast my beans in my wallet.
Yeah.
Trying to buy the best coffee I can. And, geez,
What's your favorite coffee bean?
You know what? There's this coffee around. what is it? The Six Depot stuff. Is
Okay.
that the right name? They have it over at Arthur's around the corner.
Okay.
And
Another fantastic local
yeah,
business.
Yeah,
absolutely.
they've been around for a long
100%,
time,
for
yeah.
sure.
Like 200 years or something. Like
Yeah,
that.
the building for
Yeah.
sure. I'm all over. I'm not as much as a connoisseur at like trying to find it and locate
Yeah.
it. It's just like if I'm at the grocery store, I know we need coffee. I was like, I'll take this $14 freaking
Yeah.
pouch coffee, see what it's all about. And
Well, I didn't know if you were like a Jamaican blue guy or.
Oh no, I'm not even. You know what? When I
Sorry, Jamaican gold. It's blue is
Acapulco Gold?
no.
I'm more of a Jamaican green kind of guy.
Well,
if you know what I
that's,
mean.
that's what I'm
But yeah, when I gave up the booze, I was like,
Hawaiian
maybe I'll
blue.
be like I'm gonna be a craft coffee guy. I'm gonna like try it. I'm just like, nah, it doesn't pique my interest as much.
I actually own a little machine at home, and I enjoy making lattes and cappuccinos and stuff like that for Jess and myself
Nice.
Sunday mornings.
See, Chris's Coffee gave me this like the coffee butler over there,
Yeah.
where it's just, if it's full of stuff, you just press the button and it spits it all out. It's amazingly terrible to have. Because I'll be four espressos. Well,
Do you get to throw off your own milk, or does it do it for you? Because
no, it does. It does.
it
It
does
has
it
a
all.
See, I
straw
gotta
and
do
it
it.
sucks the milk out and it heats it up in there.
I got to do it myself. I had to go and find a machine where I can actually do the frothing of the milk, and I can pack the espresso in there, so I get a nice crema on top.
See?
and,
There you go.
Do all the different patterns and stuff.
No, this it just kind of spits it out, so
Yeah.
it's not that
It just
pretty.
does- yeah.
I used to have the full 9 yards. You put it in, tamp it down.
Yep.
This just saves you on time, but it's not as pretty. But the first couple months, I was at it every day, but instead of having the espresso, I was making myself like a latte every time.
Yep.
And I'm just like the expanding
Yes,
man.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
what is wrong with me? I'm like working hard.
Cream.
Like what? Milk. Like you're just drinking half a gallon of milk
Yeah.
every other day.
Yep.
Yeah, so got past that. Now I'm just back on my shots diet.
So, what do you think of the beer?
I think it's fantastic.
Now, I noticed that as a stout, it's light. It's what's the term I'm looking for?
it's not thick.
It's not. It doesn't have that thickness to
Yeah.
it.
We
No.
didn't want to go. We didn't want to go the pastry stout route,
Okay.
which
I mean,
a lot
not
of
that
people.
it's, not that I'm saying it's a bad thing. I just noticed it's more
light.
The
Yeah.
consistency isn't as stout-like
Yeah.
as I'm used
You say
to.
it's more similar to like the
It's a-
Pilsner.
it-
That's interesting.
in terms of the
The bubble.
Yeah,
in
like the
terms of
mouth feel.
consistency, yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And it's not like you said. There's no cream. There's no lactose.
No
or-
lactose
No.
or
Yeah,
anything
and
like
lactose
that.
can give it that creamy.
It can.
Heavy
It can
feel.
increase the body, and it can definitely increase
And
the
it's not
perceived
over
sweetness.
roasty either.
Yeah.
It's not that
No,
that
it's not
burnt
like you
caramelly.
You're not going to walk in and say, "Ooh,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like burnt coffee in my
Yeah.
stout." Which, I've had some that literally taste like
Yeah,
that. Like,
malt. Yeah, well, they burn the malt.
Well,
They roasted,
it tastes
so-
like roasted coffee
Yeah.
mixed in your stout. This is definitely, if anybody's worried about that, it's
No.
not
Yeah.
that style.
Well, the beautiful thing about doing these collaboration beers is, you get to hear a lot of different schools of thought, from like different brewers and like different parts of the industry. So we were working with a candy maker, we were working with two bar owners who were very big beer people. I'm working with another brewer, and we basically came down to the idea, we didn't want to do a big 10% pastry stout kind of thing that pours thick as
Thick,
motor
like
oil.
motor oil, yeah.
Yeah.
That people were going to, because we're tying this thing into a charity where we were trying to get a $1 per pint.
And that,
Yeah,
and that-
drinkability.
So drinkability was
right,
going to become
you
a very
you're
big
really
thing.
narrowing your scope when you're
Yeah.
going with a thicker beer. We got something
Yeah.
that's lighter, maybe a little less
Yeah.
thick. You get you get more people into that.
Exactly, exactly. So we basically set out to create a basic 6% stout, no lactose, because we didn't want to keep anybody out of this kind of thing, and we needed something that was going to let the coffee shine more than anything else, because that was the whole point of the beer. It was making something that was going to be akin to an espresso martini.
Yeah.
So we really wanted to let those kinds of flavors shine, and we actually might have had a day or two over at the Backstage Pub where we had the lovely bartender Emily mix us up an espresso martini or two, and we paired it and sat it right next to the beer, and we said, well, dang, those taste similar. I like that a lot.
I was going to say
yeah.
that too. I've had, I've tasted that espresso vodka that
Yeah.
I think it was Van Gogh that
Van
used to
Gogh.
make it.
Yep.
I would
Death
say
Wish.
like almost as if somebody took a beer and added Van Gogh espresso vodka.
Yeah. It's high praise, man.
Wow,
Jeez.
I don't from Van Gogh maybe.
No, I mean, so we were trying to craft something that was going to be immensely drinkable, and we also, I mean, Chris and I had taken a look at our current beer board, and we noticed we already had a couple of beers that were hovering around 10%. So,
and the porter was about to kick too.
Yeah.
So
we were looking at our last dark beers on tap too, and we wanted to create something similar. So
going into the summer months, does that change your dark beer? Profile.
There's always going to be somebody looking for a good dark beer on tap, And when we have the space that we do, I mean, we're looking at
why not?
We're looking at 9 to 10 tap lines that we can play around with. We try to craft something for everybody.
How do the seasons affect your thought process?
They basically affect my thought process in that I have to think a season ahead. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you guys
Obviously.
have noticed,
Sure.
I mean, you pop in any of the grocery stores around the area, you've seen Sam Adams Summer Ale in the cooler for the past month and a half.
Oh, that's what they say, right?
On
Like
March 28th.
Yeah.
Marsden beer, right? It's something that you would...
Marzen.
Yeah.
Well, Marzen beers aren't until later in the year.
Yeah, that's my point. They start
should
brewing
technically
it.
be
You make
brewed.
them now.
Yeah.
But you don't have them until later in the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the fall.
Yeah.
It's like a harvest
Yeah.
beer.
That's something that's definitely in the brewing process has fallen by the wayside, the history a little bit, because I don't know any brewer in the area who's tying up a tank for 6 months at a time.
Yeah.
It's a bit much.
When you can pump some out in weeks' time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're not hiding it in a cave anymore either.
No,
so.
no.
See, look, we know a little something,
Yeah.
right? Ever
Maybe,
learned something?
I guess so.
I retained something.
So there was a minor bit of retention.
Yes. I was halfway through that. I was just surprised that there was boobs on the ceiling too.
You'll see them.
Jeez. This place was a
Wow,
bordello.
you know where your
wasn't
mind is. All right, once again.
Poor Jess.
Okay. Yeah, right. She's a saint.
She is a saint. The
Jess.
worst boyfriend in the world. You have no idea how much I torture that woman.
Oh. Well, after this podcast, I think we have some idea.
All right. So what do we want to
next
tackle
move
next?
would be, let's say, well, we have a beer in front of us, so why don't we do that so we don't have to make anybody get up?
All right.
We have the
Some of us have a beer in front of us.
you got some.
We
left
still
there.
have a little bit left here.
It's the
The Prima.
So
It's
Nick,
the Prima
Nick and I
Vista,
started with full
looks
pints
like.
of this earlier,
Right?
So yeah,
Yeah,
this
that is
the Prima
Prima
Vista.
Vista.
Prima Vista. At our previous location, I had a little kegerator, kept a couple sixes in there. I did the most of the Sloop Juice Bomb, New England IPA classic. Everybody loves
you
that.
got that.
And that is the I don't want to say clone to any lawyers listening, but the bootleg.
You're thinking of the Stellar Magnitude.
Yeah,
now.
well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The Stellar Magnitude up there is our copy of that. The beer that I sold the absolute most at our previous location, Stella Pasta Bar, was the Italian Pilsner Peroni. I was Peroni's nonstop. So we said to Brian, can you make me a clone of that one as well? And this is our bootleg Italian Pilsner, and it's very comparable.
Oh, there's nothing bootleg about this.
Yes. Just
It
the,
says
just the
here
name.
on the beer, our Italian-style Pilsner, brewed and dry-hopped with distinct German noble varieties. Light Pilsner malt paired with a touch of American honey malt gives the body of this brew slightly sweet and bready undertones. That's pretty
That makes me
That
want a
you're
beer.
using.
What's that?
Like, is it what? Like, there's a certain flavor to this that's popping out to me.
I haven't
My
even
friend,
tasted
that
it.
is
Hold
not
on.
coming from the yeast. I can tell you that much. Lager yeast is it's utilized by brewers because it's not going to bring any of its own big flavors to it. When the point of making lager.
I didn't know if it
is
was like
to-
a wild or.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, nothing. Oh God, if there's something wild in here, I have an infection to check down.
It doesn't taste. Yeah, it doesn't taste sour, but it's got a weird.
Yeah.
There's a
No, it has a sweetness to it, exactly like it says. Like when you take a
That's probably
sip,
the honey.
you definitely notice.
You know
when,
what?
when
It
you
probably is
usually
the
have a pilsner, you think of a dryness, like
Yeah.
when you're thirsty and you're like, oh, I need a good pilsner. You know, to make it. This has a little bit more of a sweetness rather than a dryness.
I would call this a
Where-
medium body,
Yeah.
as opposed to a light body beer.
Yes, very much so. And like if you're paying attention and you know your pilsners, you'll notice the sweetness right away.
Early in the process, when Brian was describing this beer to me, he was like,
Absolutely.
Pilsner is a brewer's beer. When they all get together, you're not slamming those 10% beers. You're having something light like that. So the one thing that really stuck with me, when you do a brew like this, I believe your quote was, "There's nowhere to hide."
Yeah.
There's nowhere to hide your flaws in a beer like
if
this.
you don't
You
do
make a
it
mistake,
right, you'll
it's obvious
taste.
right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Bingo.
can't just throw more hops in.
Exactly.
You really did an excellent job.
Yeah.
Normally with a beer like this, you'll after you take a sip, you'll kind of feel that thirsty feeling again. But with a more sweet style, you don't feel that.
Yeah.
Definitely chalking a little bit of that up to the honey malts
Absolutely.
that we add to
You
here.
definitely
Has a nice little
notice it.
buttery cracker flavor.
Yeah.
Well, not buttery, I shouldn't use that word, but
That's
sweet
that's a
cracker
bad
flavor
word
to it.
for brewing.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
I
that's.
forget
that's
now what causes that. Something salt.
Diacetyl.
That's it.
Yeah,
I can
diacetyl. I've never been too sure about pronunciations, but it basically gives the aroma and flavor of buttered popcorn,
Yes.
and it's not good.
Yes. It's not good for brewing.
Yeah.
People think,
No.
oh, buttery tastes beer. In reality, it's not good for beer.
No.
Can't imagine
Not
it does
even-
well for your stomach either.
No, probably not.
But you were saying,
But you're walking that line a little bit with this beer, that sweetness.
Well, we wanted something to give a little bit of a sweet, crackery, biscuity backbone. So the originators of this style of beer, Italiano Barifico, in Italy, about 15 years ago or so, basically. The guy set out to create a northern German Pilsner with a little bit of extra hop content, but he had a big love for British cask ales that were dry hopped. So he started utilizing a lot of the same processes and basically created his own style, the Italian Pilsner. Not to correct anybody, but Peroni is more akin to a European export lager than it is what we did here.
What would you use as an example for that?
I mean, anything
Spot.
like a Heineken.
Roth Hein. Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, Peroni's more akin to Heineken than it is to Italiano
actual
Barifico.
Pilsner.
Yeah. So came
Goes
over
to show you what some good advertising can do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm
or
gonna-
bad
I'm gonna
advertising.
give one,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
give
yeah.
one more,
That's where they're looking.
give one more tiny bit of good advertising here. Dave just a few seconds ago read off our beer list. If you go to our website, I actually have just a magnum opus.
What is the
I mean,
website?
full. Stellapastabar.com. Yeah. And click under the 7 points
7
heading,
points,
and
side
yeah, there's a 7 points heading on there too, and that's where I really get into the nitty gritty of describing beers. So
Yeah,
and
awesome.
we got full pages worth of just a little bit of history about the beer, total ingredients, what everything's bringing to the table and everything. So I'm I like to nerd out on that stuff a little bit, and then when it gets all the way down to the list in front of you at the bar, a little bit shorter. But
Yeah, I got the essay and I got the Spark Notes version in the email about the upcoming beer. But Brian's not a name guy, so the names I'm proud to say came out of my brain, most of them.
Yeah.
I think so.
Now Chris is very good with
I think
that.
Green Comet was pretty much yours. Right?
No,
Or was that
no,
one?
that was
See,
you.
I forgot.
That one was you, man.
Green Comet,
Yeah.
there was like a comet that passed by close to the capital region in February, right when that beer came out with some of the Comet hops in there.
Oh, there you go.
I
Lots
was
of
like,
common hops in there. Yeah. If I was naming these beers, this Italian Pilsner would be called Italian Pilsner. So I'm very thankful to have Chris and also our general manager here, Allie. But I don't think Chris has let her name a beer yet. She's just
One day she
she's
will.
chomping at the bit, man.
She's my
What-
little cousin too, and
Yeah.
more importantly than my GM. So it's like I wanna name the beer.
One of these days, Allie is going to be out sick, or Chris is going to be out sick, and Allie's going
On
to
the-
sneak
on a
in and
beer
name
day?
one. Yep.
For her birthday.
Should have like a naming contest for the employees.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah.
Well, you were saying I set that up when I was here. I had a cannoli, and you're like, yeah, that's a good menu item to eat if you wanna kind of judge the place that
Yeah.
you're eating at. And it's funny because I have a couple of, depending on, like, if I'm having ice cream, vanilla ice cream. When I go to a brewery, a lot of guys will sit there and say, oh, I'm going to try their IPA.
Sure,
I
of
like their
course.
IPA. That's dumb. If you want to try something from a brewery to know if it's a good brewery, try their lagers, try their pilsners, because you're right. There's nowhere to hide. It's not like I was saying
Yeah,
before. You can just
If you have
dump hops
glare-
in there
yeah.
and be like, well, I'll fix
Yeah.
this right up.
If you have glaring flaws in your brewing process, it'll show up in a beer like this more than just about any other style.
For sure.
Yeah.
So if for those that are listening out there that are just getting into trying craft beers, always try the pilsner or the lager. Even if you're not the biggest fan of them, you'll find that they grow on you. But they're a good starting point.
Well, you always find that those are the most drinkable over time.
For sure.
Like everybody's like, I love this IPA, I love that IPA.
Yeah, but how many IPAs
But
are you
after
getting?
exactly after you've done a few of them, you always see them coming back to the pilsners and the lagers.
Yeah.
Always come back to them.
Yep.
Always.
Well, they're delicious too.
And
you know?
refreshing.
Yeah,
Crisp
I mean, it's just a different type of flavor for all the people out there who are like, oh, I only drink IPAs or this, that, or the other thing. I mean, this is just delicious beer.
Just beer.
You know?
Basic beer.
You know?
Especially this Pilsner. This Pilsner is like, all right, so locally, I think if you're going to give a nod to somebody who makes Pilsners, it would have to be Back Bar. They just produce so many good Pilsners.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize that's
Their whole
like,
team out there just rocks.
For sure.
I mean,
Right now, we're running their Dunkel.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I had their
yeah.
Dunkel. Yeah, it was
delicious.
You know,
pretty
it was, you know, as you were saying about seasons, that's kind of how we've been trying to buy beers. You know, we go through 7 Points and we go through Back Barn and we go through Wolf Hollow, but usually the time of year is what makes a lot of the decision for me.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? I don't not generally like want to put a Pilsner on in winter. As good as a Pilsner may be, you know, I'm usually looking for the darker stuff in winter, the medium stuff in summer, and the light stuff or the medium stuff in spring, and the light stuff in winter. Now in the summer, but that's not always how you do it. But that's generally.
Yeah.
It was just a few weeks ago. You know, you asked me for a keg. You asked me for the porter. You know, got you one of those, and then you were like, the next time I talk to you, I'm going to want something spring style.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Good on you, by the way, for supporting all these local breweries. Which I know this is the reason why we started the podcast, but I think I love the fact that you do reach out to Wolf Hollow, 7 Points, Back Bar.
Actually, I got to talk to Harry over at Great Flats.
Flats.
He just texted me yesterday.
Yeah.
I got to make
He's
sure
the
I get
best.
him. He's such a genuinely nice
my
guy.
God.
Wow.
Great guy.
And you know where I saw him? I saw him at the farmer's market.
I was there
He's
on
always
Sunday,
there.
too. Where were you?
Well, you know, I was there. I got there at noon. Was probably done at 2. Back over to the bar.
I was there at 10 a.m. to get a couple of breakfast empanadas, and then I headed home after that.
Over at Flaco Taco?
no, there's a
Oh, is it
stand.
Lydia's?
Yeah,
there's
there's a
an
stand.
Lydia's empanadas.
Yeah.
Yep. There's another guy over there whose name escapes me right now. Don't shoot me. I apologize, sir. But you make fantastic empanadas as well.
Yeah,
that's a Sunday breakfast for me.
Unnamed.
Oh, yeah. Well, Wolf Hollow has they'll do they do like food truck. Like they have a bunch of food trucks out there sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I had some of the empanadas. I think it was Lydia empanadas, and we had them. I think last
It's
year.
fantastic.
We might have
Yeah.
had it last year at a Harbor Jam.
Oh,
So,
nice. Yeah.
All right. Now we've gone through 2 excellent beers right now.
Yes.
Now I wouldn't say that the Prima Vista was necessarily
A
fall
crowd
into-
pleaser, or
fall
is
into
that
any
your,
of those categories.
is that your heart and soul?
Should we also got a gold medal winner up there.
That's
on that board.
okay.
We're
there
gonna
you
have
go.
to do that one
That's
next.
what I was
I
going to
think.
say.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
let's do
say
it.
maybe you want to pick something that may not be your
Well, this
heart
was-
and soul, or might not be your.
We'll drink whatever you want to put in front of us.
Exactly.
The Dionysus and its sister beer, the Bacchus, it came from a really interesting place. Once again, shaking my fist at the State Liquor Authority. When we moved over here from our previous location, had to change counties, and even though me and Chef still the owners, we had our one in Burnt Hills in place till like next year. The holding got blown up, and we got our microbrewing license before we got the beer and wine over here. And I had staff ready to work, kitchen staff ready to go, food ordered. We couldn't delay it any
It's a
longer.
crime that you don't have your liquor license.
It's insane. It's insane. It's costing me money. And we have a whole nice program planned, But to begin with, just to get the beer and wine, when we already had that, liquor license is going to be new for Stella Pasta Bar, but the beer and wine, you need it with the Italian food, especially the wine. But we just had the microbrewing. I was not happy about it, and Brian said, well, I got an idea about, potentially making a sour ale dosed with this unfermented wine juice. And it would be like a wine-based sour, and I was like, let's do it. That's what we're talking about with like the, see the word experimental is coming just because that was the category. I don't think that's what I said, but I said, try the process.
It was an
you
experiment
want.
for me, for sure. So
Getting in the ingredients that are a little bit out there, making a beer that not everyone is used to. But like Ryan was saying, when we got 10 lines, to try something different, to get people excited and get people talking about both the restaurant and the brewery together, that's kind of where the Dionysus came from. Should I grab some samples?
Yeah, we should try that one.
that'd be amazing. I believe
Now
I'm gonna.
maybe I'll do the same thing here. It's a pale gold strong sour ale, dosed with Chardonnay grape juice, Simple, bright, and refreshingly fruity with a cold, crisp, and pleasantly sour finish.
My girlfriend would love this, by the way. She's a wine connoisseur, and she loves sours.
And I want to say,
Where is she, man?
You want to say this was a gold medal winner?
So
Gold
yeah,
medal.
we
Gold
took
medal
home.
winner. Whereabouts at the?
This was the New York State Brewers competition.
Where's that usually held?
So it's held at the Albany Capitol Center every year. It has been for the past couple of years. Obviously,
I want to get in on
COVID
that.
was a little
You think
different.
we
but
could get tickets, like press tickets or something?
I would like to.
Yeah, right.
I mean, as local businessmen, such as you are, I can't see any reason that you guys shouldn't pop by for the awards ceremony. But we every brewery in the state, gets an invite and gets a free entry. You can pay for entries after that. But just big shout out to the New York State Brewers Association. I know Paul Leon's listening right now because he was probably just waiting for this podcast to pop up today. No, but I mean, our state association is definitely like one of the strongest in the nation. They do a lot of good work for us. I can't say enough good things about them. I mean, they kept daily updates throughout COVID and everything. When legislation was changing by the minute. So I can't say enough good things about them. I mean, besides California, this is the biggest competition in the United States. So it's an honor to take home anything.
So many local people, so many local winners too.
Yeah. Artisanal. My old friend Adam Elbrecht actually works up at Artisanal. He was my cold brewer down here. He just got a medal for one of his IPAs up there. Nice job, buddy. Now we were so really proud of him
over here.
Yeah.
At some point recently.
You hide them?
Yeah, it's my calling card.
Yo,
like a reverse
you gotta
Easter egg
finish
hunt. So
not that they're not awesome, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not drinking.
well, we were very, very proud, very, very excited to take home anything, much less a gold medal in the experimental category. For this beer. I set out to create a cold carbonated glass of white wine, and apparently the judges think that I succeeded. So I was pretty happy about it.
Salud.
Cheers
Cheers,
to
guys.
the Dionysus.
I thought the Dionysus and then the sister wine there, the Bacchus, the Greek and Roman gods of wine and debauchery.
It's not overly. First of all, it's a 10%.
9.8. Let's calm it down there just a little
Call it
bit.
6.
It's pretty close to 10%. I don't taste it at all. It's refreshing.
Yes.
Oh my God, is it
Yeah.
refreshing? And it doesn't really taste like beer, but it really doesn't taste like wine.
Yeah.
It's
a nice little hybrid, isn't
there's
it?
something. Yeah. There's,
Well, it's
got
almost like a champagne.
It's got like a niche. Well, the bubble.
Yeah.
The
It's
bubble.
almost like a champagne beer.
Yeah.
But it's a little sweeter. It's not
Yeah.
like a brute or it's
No.
not super
What's that?
dry.
dry, yeah.
What's that style of champagne? Spumani?
Spumani,
yeah.
Pasta Spumani, or whatever it was.
I can't pronounce those words. I'm sorry, but yeah,
It's so good.
I don't want to embarrass
it is
myself.
similar to that because I think generally they are sweeter champagnes, and that's what this is very similar to.
They make a miserable mimosa.
Because I believe also
I need the brute for that.
Chardonnay is a sweeter wine.
Yes.
Maybe you used Pinot Grigio grapes or something like that would be a little
Which
bit
I was
more.
a little bit embarrassed, far too late into the process to have not put two and two together about the Italian Bistro and making a Pinot Grigio white wine sour.
You can do it next time.
Yeah. Oh, and there will be a next time.
For this
So,
one,
But
for
like you
sure.
said, once you tweak that too, you could taste it and you'd be like, it's not as good. Maybe the sweetness goes better with it.
Maybe it does.
Because
I have other tricks to combat that, though. I think I can play around. So.
Do tell.
I can't possibly.
not all tricks. But yeah, it's almost like a sweet champagne beer. Sweeter, not like.
No, it's good.
I will take that compliment.
You
I think
can taste-
you said Jen liked this one too, right?
Yes, definitely, without a doubt.
You've already tried
She
this?
likes the white wine.
I might have brought him over a sample when I was trying to do some keg sales around the area.
I feel like you're cheating on me.
I'm not the general public.
Well, Jen
I
probably
know.
likes that you're not drinking too much. I mean, she gets all the samples.
Yeah,
So,
well, she's not
yeah.
really drinking too much either.
Yeah.
We're kind of both. I know it's really hard to do a beer podcast when you don't drink beer.
No, you're fine.
Tell me about it.
No, it's not. Just bring me along.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have a friend of mine who Terry O'Donnell. We've had him around the podcast.
Yep.
He's been on it a little bit here and there, and I always tell him like, "Come on, man! Like anytime you want to be on."
That's awesome.
He was a former program director for Fly 92. He's also a former program director for 102.3 Kiss. He's now like an OM or something like that over at Albany Broadcasting. So the guy knows radio. He knows how to talk. He can hold a conversation. But he's always like, I don't really drink, so I don't want to come on. All right. You don't have to drink to come on.
I feel like drinking was almost like...
Chris is doing a wonderful job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like we're going to slam like 10 beers during
No.
the podcast or anything. You know, you're really only...
And plus, I end up just drinking all your samples anyway.
Yeah, well, you
Well,
win.
this is working out for everybody. I mean, jeez.
Win-win.
I mean, I'd say 90% of our podcast so far has been more about ghosts and food and baking and stuff like that.
Which we didn't say.
So
Like, I guess
We've got it all.
we're planning on having a podcast here with our friends over at the Paranormal. I just forgot the name of the podcast.
We're ready to believe you.
Well,
Yes.
you know, you guys, we were joking too, and unfortunately, nobody's really listening to this, so I can say.
Stop
But I've been watching
It's not true.
of like paranormal, like caught on camera, and paranormal, like unexplained caught on camera.
Did you see the one at the asylum in Saratoga?
I did. I just watched it the other day.
I've been there.
Have you really? Jen and I talked about going up there. But
I know
like,
Steve
It was
brought-
like after the show
Yeah.
got aired, and I figured we were going to go up there, and there's going to be like 100 different
You
people
can't just go
wandering
in there.
around. No, I mean, like it's a big fence. It's like a hurricane fence around.
And I know the guy who manages the place.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Well,
if you ever want to go out,
well, we have to do a podcast there. We
for
have
sure.
to go.
As a matter of fact, he's the one who
We're
set us
doing
up
this.
with Slickfin.
Okay. Yeah.
He's the marketing manager for
Slickfin was
Slickfin.
up in Fort Edward, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool place.
Yeah. Really nice guy.
Veteran owned.
Yeah.
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 And I'm not sure if I'm quoting this correctly, but I recently learned that a slick fin was actually a Navy term for
It is.
I think it's something like a dead torpedo in the water or something
Oh,
like
not
that.
a dead one, but like
live torpedo,
yeah,
perhaps?
something like
Yeah.
that.
Mist or something.
Yeah, real cool stuff. Nice spot up there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. And anyway,
Yeah, we had a good time up there.
so
Terry O'Donnell was there.
yeah, Saratoga. That like I'm all about that. Like, and now people will think I'm crazy because Jen thinks I'm crazy, but I've seen some footage on this, and I know it's very easy nowadays to manipulate digital, you know, photography.
You talk about the shadow that went across the hallway?
Not just that, but especially lately, not paranormal caught on camera. The one that's like unexplained caught on camera has better footage, in my opinion.
Okay.
I mean, I've been watching like the last few weeks. I've caught some stuff on there that really is disturbing, like disturbing. Like I'm not sure all these people are really attempting to do fake videos.
Yeah.
And when I realize that they aren't doing a fake video, I say to myself, then what the fuck is that? And I mean, a lot of times, like I just admittedly watched it today before I came here, and this one guy had probably at least 10 different videos of this one creature that was roaming around his house and his kids, and it literally, it's the same creature every time. It's like either this person has a crazy person dressed up outside their house for like weeks at a time, or there's really something weird out there.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, this guy's footage
the
wasn't this
Mothman?
crappy, grainy footage. Like you're like,
Like the
you know,
Bigfoot
you're
footage or
yeah,
something?
you're
Yeah.
squinting to see it. I mean, right up in its thing's face, like clear video footage of there's something there, like walking around that's like 8 feet tall. I'm just saying. I'm not even saying that's the specific one. I'm just saying that there's so
spooky
much of
stuff
it.
happening
There's
in
so
town.
much of it on video that I'm sorry. Like your basic digital video footage manipulation, or having your friend chuck a paint bucket from the other room, isn't really flying for me. I mean, I just like there's just so much of it that I hate to say, like there's got to be something to it.
Yeah, what if Bigfoot
And I admit
is
that I'm
blurry?
totally
That's what scares
I'm
me.
totally intrigued by it.
Mitch
Like,
Hedberg.
What if Bigfoot had social media?
maybe we
That's
should.
so cool.
That would be awesome.
I think Bigfoot is blurry. That's the problem.
That's yeah.
Is that Mitch Hedberg?
Yeah, it's Mitch Hedberg. I'll tell you a story that happened here in this building. I was upstairs with the Psychic on the Scene crew, which actually I just did a podcast with them yesterday. I didn't do the podcast. I set it up. They borrow my equipment from time to time, so there might be ghosts and God knows what else on these microphones.
I thought these headphones felt weird.
They smell like ectoplasm.
He slimed me.
But so we were here, and there was I told you the story before the podcast started. So we're upstairs, and they're trying to ask this like spirit that's upstairs questions, and they've got divining rods that move. If the answer is yes, you open up, whatever. So all of a sudden, like Katie Manning, one of the psychics, keeps looking over at the intern that was from iHeart that came with us, and just keeps looking over at her and is like, "Hold on, stop! There's an old woman standing over your shoulder, and she just is demanding that I tell you that the flowers your mother picked were okay. Does that mean anything to you?" And she's like, "That's my grandmother. My mom was freaking out over the flowers at her funeral. She didn't know if she was supposed to do these flowers. Those. She picked the right flowers. That's what she wants to." And then she started going into this whole thing, and she was like naming names and all kinds of stuff. And I was just like, "What is going on?" And then the girl started crying. She's upstairs crying over this.
Well,
Literally right above us.
I
was standing on the stage.
Those are the things, though. I will say this: that was funny. Have you ever seen the South Park episode that debunks?
And
that?
she does that a little bit.
Well, that's what I mean. Like
cold reading.
See, I hate
type
to say
stuff.
that video footage, while it can easily be manipulated, we've seen how how a psychic can
That
manipulate
Edwards guy
you into saying that those people know that you're going to have something in your background that's going to have to do with a death or a family relative.
Yeah.
I mean, not that that's not freaky, because I think that based on some of the things I've seen on video, that there probably are people that have the ability to maybe see or feel things that we don't necessarily see or feel.
Agreed.
But
Maybe.
when they come off as like that same, that style that those psychics do, like, I'm seeing, a woman.
It's a woman.
Like,
my mother.
Right,
Yes,
yes,
it has
exactly.
to be.
Like,
She brought up a very specific
That's
thing.
the thing. Now, I understand a
She was
specific
like, the
thing.
flowers were okay, and she's like, she just starts crying. I'm like, what's going on?
That's pretty specific.
I thought I
but
might have been getting set up. They might have had a conversation before.
It's probably, I don't want to say, I'm not trying to be the one to debunk it. Most people are laughing their asses off.
Well, you're going to
when
be.
they
She
heard
loves
me,
you.
when they heard me describing, paranormal caught on camera.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not saying I'm a believer, and I'm saying I'm not a
We're
believer.
done with that podcast.
Yeah. Oh, no.
All 6 of them.
She loves you. She wants to come here again. She wants to do everything upstairs. Yeah.
Ready.
So that's awesome.
Seance.
We'll do that in October. Do yours like in June. Like we'll pick maybe June, July, or something like
I
that.
don't care. We'll figure it out. Easy.
We'll find out the guy that was stabbed.
We
in the back
obviously
of your bar.
gotta. We need another boat trip.
Yes, we do.
Apparently,
gonna have my
one of
boat in
our
the water
best
this year.
podcasts of the year never got
No,
recorded.
because every time we started the engine, all you hear is.
Yeah, it's too bad.
That was a nice fog on. I don't
That's
know
what
about
it sounded
ending.
like exactly, though. Well, what are you gonna do?
I don't know. I mean, so
Next time we'll just anchor.
Yes, and just smoke
float.
cigars.
Yes, and
What if
other
you just?
stuff.
I mean, if you don't even move the boat, you don't need to spend anything on gas.
You're still on a
You
boat.
know,
Right.
just sit in the boat.
I'm gonna have my
Anchors
boat
are
in the
full.
water this year.
Yeah.
What kind of boat is it?
It's a sailboat, but I'm gonna put it in the river. It's
I don't even know what to say
It's a
to that.
24-foot sailboat. I'm gonna leave the sail off of it. I'm gonna throw a 10 horsepower motor on it, and I'm gonna. It has a retractable keel.
Yeah,
Like a 6-foot lead keel that it goes right up into the bottom of it, so it'll tread water on 2 feet of
Yeah,
water.
so you have low draft.
yeah.
You guys
So-
are giving me something to look forward to. I'm just sitting here on a
You're
kayak.
invited. Yeah.
I mean,
No, we'll definitely do a podcast with you because I bring a battery pack the whole nine. We go hang out and smoke cigars.
I
and drink
can't
beer.
imagine this. Can't imagine this board doing too well
We
out there
did
in the water.
We did. We've done it before.
It's scary.
She's tough. Yeah, we did it out on my boat last year.
I
and,
spilled beer on this thing before.
We just drove around the lake and did a podcast.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
It was.
Unfortunately,
It was.
it wasn't a very,
What
very,
lake?
very.
I even
What lake you
Boston
guys
Lake.
like? Boston
I live
Lake.
on,
His
I live on
backyard.
Boston Lake.
There you go.
All right. Very
Right in
nice.
his literally, you walk in his backyard and you just.
Yeah. Thought you were going to say Sacandaga like everybody else that I know in the
That's
area.
by my house.
Oh, well, there you go.
Back
So do
when
we-
I was a kid, we had one there.
Did you really?
Yeah. The tough thing about Sacandaga Lake is at the
Everyone
end of the
you know
summer,
is there.
at the end of the summer, like usually by Labor Day, your boat's got to be out of the water.
Yeah.
So you really don't even get to enjoy Labor Day weekend up there. It was really frustrating. Some places where the water is deeper you can, but most like shallower marinas,
Yeah.
you got to be out before Labor Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
We
like,
had a
you know
dry
what I mean?
summer last year too. I mean, it was rough.
Like let's say September usually ends up being a beautiful month. You want to take advantage of that boating. You can't do that on Sacandaga Lake.
See, then now you're convincing me not to buy a camp on there.
Well, I mean, as long as you're comfortable with having your boat out early, or like I said, there are places like down when you're getting down towards the dam where the water's real deep.
Yeah.
Like if you're comfortable, like you can probably boat year round, but you got to be careful because the boat launches will close.
Yeah.
because you can't get to them.
This year I'm thinking about, like I said, on the river. I'm going to put it right up at Indian Head. You know where that is?
No, I don't.
On the other side of Scotia. So you know the bridge at the end of 890?
Yes, that goes over the river.
If you look to the left, there's a little marina. There's
Yes,
a little RV.
Yep.
That's
Yep,
Indian Head.
Yep, I didn't know the name of that. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I talked to Jess and I said, let's rent a dock, and she starts breaking down. She's like, we figured out that it's just cheaper to just put the boat in the
Plop it
water.
in.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. Yes, it is. Okay, from somebody who has some boat experience.
Yes, please give me your input.
Yes, it's cheaper to put it in and take it out.
Yeah.
But I'm going to assure you that putting it in and taking it out every weekend or every time you do it is a huge pain in the ass.
It's about 10 minutes putting in.
Bro,
I've done it.
we've all done it.
Yeah.
But like,
I know,
when
it's
you've
annoying.
spent a day on the water drinking or whatever,
Right.
and it's the sun is setting and you're tired. All you want to do is go home and eat something.
Yeah.
The last thing you want
wanna
to do is
put it back
around
in,
with your
yeah.
boat. Like, granted, it might cost a little more money, but think about all you got to do is hop in your car.
I'm just going to put you and Jess in a room and you guys figure it
Hop
out.
in your car, head down to the slip, hop on your boat, take it out. When you're done, put it back in the slip, tie it off you go.
You know what?
Trust me.
Talking to you,
There
I'm
are-
sold, but then
there are
talking to her, I'm
trade-offs.
sold.
You know what's
There-
better than owning a boat?
Not owning a boat?
Having
Having
a
a
friend,
friend
who
own a
owns
boat.
So what are you guys up to? So,
Listen, I have another boat. I'll give it to you.
no,
You can have it.
Oh God, I got too many boats as it is.
I literally have, with the canoes, I have like 7 boats.
Is there anything else
Yeah,
you
if
want
we're,
to feed us?
counting, if we're counting canoes and kayaks, dude, I'm flush.
Yeah.
I got a 24-foot sailboat and I've got a 12-foot canoe.
Brag. Okay. Whatever, man.
Is there any other beers you want to feed us before we end this podcast?
Should we try one more?
Try another beer.
Try one more.
Hey, by the way, you were saying before that it was like a knockoff or of sloop, and I like the word. I thought of it a second ago. A tribute.
Yeah.
It's a tribute to.
It's not the greatest song in the world.
This is the tribute.
That's that is the greatest song in the world, in my opinion. People are like, it's not the greatest song. I'm like, yes, it is the greatest song in the world, and it's a tribute. I would vote for either the Beckenbauer, classic name, or the Green Comet.
See, I was going to try and steer you more in the direction of the Lemmerweizen.
Bring them both.
That's good too. Like I'll say this, in my experience, the Hefeweizens
We're gonna
have a
end
huge following.
strong. I'll be
Oh, you
back.
get to pick
I'm
one.
a really big fan. I don't know. I think I might have to push
Is
this towards
this Lemmy Weizen is named after Lemmy Winks?
No.
I don't know if anybody will even know what that is.
Yeah. Well, actually, Nick, why don't you decide between those 3 right there? What would you think? Would you think the Green Comet?
The Green Comet's a cold style IPA.
Cold style
The Beckenbauer is a German lager, and the Lemmy Weizen's, and obviously it's a Hefeweizen.
I say we do 2. We do the Beckenbauer and we do the lemon Weizen.
I don't
All
care.
right. Thank you, Chris. All right. We can finish strong here.
Listen,
nice and
I gotta.
strong.
While he's doing that, I gotta run out to my car. I left my
Do it.
phone out there.
Are you missing a text from somebody? You got a hot date?
Maybe. Love of my life.
How about those Yanks?
I got spanked a little bit last night. Otani's so good. He's gonna look so good in pinstripes next year, though. So it's all right. You know they're already selling his Japanese jersey at Yankee Stadium, right? Dude, I mean it's happening. To all my Red Sox haters out there, screw you. So,
My little brother's a Red Sox fan too.
my girlfriend's a Red Sox fan. It's a house divided. It does not sit well, but
At least I got him right. He's a Giants fan, so
Lemon and Beck.
Thank you.
Would you like a lemon and Beck?
I guess I'll do a lemon back.
yeah. You asked me to choose. I was almost like all 3.
All right, note to self: never let you choose.
No.
So yeah.
The answer: choose one. Yes.
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 Would you like a beer? Yes.
Yes.
What kind of beer?
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
No, seriously.
Yes,
what kind
yes,
of- yes. What do you not get about this?
Simple answer. What was I going to say?
Chris,
do you
you're the
have
man.
this
Thank
can?
you.
We have the Crowler machine.
Oh, there we go.
Fresh can, anything you like.
I'm gonna get this before I leave tonight.
Nice. Oh, please do.
The beautiful
no,
Jessica's got
I
it.
think she'll
She's
like
gotta try it, yeah.
So
We might have it tomorrow. It's gonna be nice, like 60 some odd degrees outside.
tomorrow's looking better than today, and then
Yeah.
the day after.
Friday's gonna
God,
be in the 80s
man.
again.
Dude, 85 and sunny.
Yeah, I
Can't
think we're
go
looking
wrong.
at tomorrow though. It's like 60 and sunny. Well, I mean, it's not great, but it's sunny.
Tomorrow will be all right, and then Friday, Saturday, it's gonna be gangbusters
Yeah.
out on that
Yeah.
patio. You know,
Saturday's the day. 'Cause
Brian-
that's going to be 75 and like no clouds and just gorgeous.
Yes.
Nick was just over at the bar and he mentioned that our mango jalapeno blonde is going to be the next beer that comes out.
Oh, so that's the next.
And it's going to, but I'm trying to think of some names for it.
So let me. So
Spicy blonde.
before you get into the name, yeah.
Well, you know what I thought of though? I thought of Holland Goats. Because it's jalapeno and mango, but I think Holland Goats is just too much.
I like
but
it.
in my mind,
That's really good.
It's the Holland Goats blonde ale, so maybe it will be. But people are like Holland Goats? No, Holland Goats.
It's actually going to be a jalapeno peach.
Let me.
Oh, peach.
So yeah.
Oh, that
So
ruins
that's-
my mango.
What's the last time you listened to the assistant brewer try and tell you
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
coming
true,
up
true,
next?
true,
Okay.
true. No, you know what? I heard jalapeno, and maybe I just thought mango, and maybe I was thinking mango in my mind. Well, back to
Mango on my mind.
Back to square one. Yeah, I can't name it that either.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask this question. Like, Back Barn has their
Jalapeno Pills.
jalapeno pills.
Probably the best spicy beer I've ever had.
It's good.
So delicious.
But when I talked to a couple of bars or one of the things that the capsaicin gets stuck in the lines. So when you switch the keg out, you tend to get a little bit of a spicy.
No worry about that. No worry about that whatsoever. We have and Nick, this is one thing you can definitely attest to. We have a very strict line cleaning process here.
So it's
we fought
10 out of 10.
It's a clean. So if you do it proper, you don't.
We are beer clean here on our tap lines. We follow everything from the Master Brewers Association. They have an entire draft tech manual based around line cleaning and everything, and we follow that to a T. Every couple of weeks, we get our lines cleaned. We do everything ourselves in house here. We don't outsource to a outside company or anything, and we're pretty proud to say if you're drinking it fresh here on the premises, you're drinking the freshest it could possibly be. Although the second best place would probably be the lines over at 20 North. They're doing all right. So yeah.
I don't clean them. No, that's what I paid Tinkerstead for.
I was gonna say there's a company out there that does
Yeah,
it.
that's what
It always has a
Tinkerstead
sign that
does.
says "so cleaned by so and so."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right on the keg. It's right on the keg
Yeah.
cooler.
What do you want to try first?
Lemmy Winks. I mean,
Lemmy Winks.
Is that what this is?
That's what that is.
We got a Hefeweizen.
So
Yes.
I'll do this.
But you don't want.
Oh, I grabbed two. I wasn't
No, it's
sure.
fine. No, he's gonna take
Split
this
it.
I'm gonna
Split
take.
it.
Yeah, he's gonna take the sip.
The
I'm gonna-
timing is not
gonna
of the
finish
biggest
it.
concern.
Oh, that's refreshing.
These are always hugely popular beers.
Yeah.
We've been pouring a shit ton of them.
Is it like Leinenkugel?
I would
No.
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 What am I
like
talking?
a-
It's not Leinenkugel.
Yeah.
Like a Hefeweizen.
Yeah, more like a
Polliner.
Yep.
That's.
Polliner was always the big Hefeweizen.
I smell bubble gum.
Bubblegum,
Coriander,
banana, little clove
Yep.
for sure.
I just
Yeah.
smelled my microphone. Like
Yeah.
it smells like my bad breath.
Smells like
Yeah.
my mouth.
Those are. It
The
was
ghost
always.
of 1,000 beers in
Yeah.
the microphone, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I like to.
Many,
I used
many
to.
little beer molecules in
Name
there.
for a beer.
I don't know if you remember.
1,000 beers?
Yeah.
I didn't have these air. What we call. It's not a dead cat, but
Yeah.
a muff. Like it's. I didn't have these.
You
when we
really
left.
shouldn't call it that
No.
either. But it's fine.
Speaking to my muff.
I hear an echo. So like I didn't have
Getting
these
a
the
whole
last
new
time.
set of my boss here
Yeah.
today. So
We didn't have these on the last podcast, and I used to disinfect all the time. Well, these are a little bit harder to just disinfect. With
Yeah.
The
well, we'll get the 9.8% beer back out here for you to speak
go, wipe
into
it
as we
down.
finish up.
yes.
Basically a wipe down.
Well, yeah, we're an hour and a half
Yeah.
in.
That's the Beckenbauer right there.
Also, again, I'm going to say the Hefeweizens that I often had were kind of creamier and almost sweeter. This is maybe a less creamy and less sweet Hefeweizen.
This definitely has a certain dryness to it.
Yes.
The yeast strain that I used for this one actually ferments out extremely, extremely dry and makes it, in my opinion, a little bit more palatable, a little bit
Sure.
more drinkable for
Yeah.
summertime.
Yep,
on
absolutely.
the patio.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas Hefeweizen, like you said, it's like almost like it's like a hot, like a. I don't know if I would liken it to like a sweet out on the patio, where like it's too hot for sweets. I
Yeah.
need something a little drier.
It's such a
Yes.
different flavor, like especially with this one. Like we dose it with a little bit of a citrusy, spicy coriander. And not just dose it. I mean, it's actually a big part of this beer, so it definitely imparts a lot of that flavor to it. And we go one step further on top of that, just to match the coriander citrus. We actually serve this with a wheel of lemon. on
Which
every
has
pint.
always been very popular with
Yeah.
the Weiss beers.
Yeah,
that I've
absolutely. It's not traditional German to do it, but
Seen.
you
They
know,
don't
it's
have lemons
definitely
in Germany.
They don't have lemons in Germany.
No, not,
Can you back
not-
that up, man?
Not,
Can you back that up?
Well, okay.
Is this like
Let me
dogs
restate
can't
that.
look up? Like,
Their
is that one of
heads can't
those
go
things?
up.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
No, like let's say this: lemon trees don't grow in Germany,
Oh,
That makes
fair
sense.
enough.
which is why you would never see lemon there. Hefeweizen.
Lemon trees don't grow in my house when Jess is
No, they
taking
don't
care
grow
of
in
them.
upstate New York either.
Poor Jess, taking a beating here today.
So the Backenbauer, how do you feel about that?
Beckenbauer.
It's
right?
creamy.
He was a famous.
One of the best
wouldn't call
German
it
football
famous,
players
yeah,
of all time.
big-
I was
yeah,
going to ask you
very
if you were going
famous.
to. Yeah.
As a kid, you know, a lot of people
Bend it like Beckham?
referred to him. Yeah, he was like very very much so. He was that kind of player.
Some would say the best defender
Like,
of all time.
Yes, yeah. You know, during at the tail end of Pele's career, he was probably one of the widest known soccer players in the world. Franz, I think his name was.
Yep, Franz
Beckenbauer.
He's lucky I quit.
Yeah, he was one of the and I think he became like head.
He was involved in like the German football
yeah,
program for a long time.
The
actually.
Bundesliga, maybe, is what it is. The Bundesliga. Anyway, enough about Franz.
Yeah.
Well, as far as the Beckenbauer goes, I mean, we kind of just set out to create kind of like a, again, going with a hybrid style kind of thing. We were looking at a Marzen, we were looking at a Fest beer, the two things that make up a successful Oktoberfest style of beer. But we wanted something that was going to play year-round. So we mixed in a little bit of a, kind of the traits that you get off a nice German Munich lager. And we needed something a little maltier, a little more amber on tap at all times, because we definitely have a lot of people who come in and look for that style of beer. Not everybody's the fruited sour,
Nope.
pastry stout,
Or
New England
IPA guy.
kind of guy.
Yeah, a lot of people.
So-
I get that a lot. A lot of people say,
Yeah.
give me a lager. And a lot of times, because of the fact that lagers are not popular beers traditionally now, or not traditionally, but now, like,
Well,
a
they
lot of
definitely
times
have their
like,
place.
A lot of
but,
times,
yeah.
normally I look at the person, I'm like, all I got is Yingling. I hate to say it, but it's weird
Yingling's
because
not
a lot of people say, they don't say what do you got for, obviously people say what do you got for IPA, but that's because of the multitude that are out there.
Yeah.
But I have a certain group of guys that are like lager. They're like, it's just like a lager. I don't know if you say it's a group, but I get that more often than that,
You don't have-
specifically
you don't have
more
Heineken?
often than any other. They're not looking for Heineken. They're looking for something like this, or for example, who makes a good one? No offense to you, but I think it's Rich over at Frog Alley. His
1903.
his
The
Vienna
1903
lager
yep.
is excellent.
It is really good.
Is excellent.
Rich
and I'm
is,
going to say,
Rich
He's
is
no longer
actually
with
now
Frog Alley.
formerly of Frog Alley.
oh, I didn't
But,
know that. I haven't been paying attention.
He's he went to go work for a company selling equipment, right?
Yes, and actually a lot of consulting work too. And
Yeah.
he will still be teaching over at
Connecticut.
SCCC as well. But big shout out to the rest of the crew over at Frog Alley, Steve,
Oh, yeah, Drew and-
Drew and Laura.
Yep.
Yep.
Laura's the best.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's-
if you guys get the chance to interview those guys, they're pretty great.
Well, we'll
So-
definitely go back for
Oh
sure.
yeah, we've had
We-
Drew and Rich.
had Drew and Rich.
Rich is can't get him to shut up.
No, we just got to turn him up.
It's worse than my partner Eric.
Who says he'll hop on a podcast, but every time we say, "Hey, bring Eric on," he never comes.
He's
He's
it's
busy
going to
in
be
the kitchen.
silence. No, it will be silence on the other end.
He was, first of all, we had him on a podcast for a split second before it started downpouring, and that was our barbecue pairing podcast, and he had a lot to
Oh,
say.
that's right. That was the one over at
At Kevin's
house. Nice house too.
Well, what's Eric's brother up to? Pete can talk, right?
Yeah, he and both. Well, I'll say Goz, but Mike. Those guys are excellent. They do a.
Well, Goz lives next
Ton.
door. You want me to go yell over the fence and get him?
I don't know if he's there. What's
Ring the
today?
alarm.
No, I'm not even joking. What's today? He might still be at work.
Wednesday.
Shoot him a
He's
text.
off.
Who
I don't
knows?
think he's off till tomorrow, but whatever. He might be there.
Does he do
but
good work?
I will say this: I'll give credit to both those guys. They are not just slamming beers, which they do, but
Don't we all?
they make a really concerted effort to get out there and try all the new beers, not just
Yeah.
IPAs. And initially it was mostly IPAs, but if you want, I'm going to say, Mike Goz has checked in. What's that thing when you check into beers? You know what
Untapped.
it's
Yeah, on tap.
He is in the
Untapped.
several thousands.
I'm
not joking.
I don't do it. I wonder what it would be like if I did it.
He is in the several thousands.
You can't check in 30 straight Labatt Blues out of a 30.
Yeah, that doesn't work. That doesn't count.
So, yeah.
Well, my
Bad Blue, location, home.
Like,
5 stars.
And why did they get so bad in the middle and then so good at the end? Like,
That's what I was trying to like.
are we talking about like the first beer to the 30th beer, or are we talking like the beginning of the beer or the end of the
he's grading on a curve. Like, clearly he passed out somewhere midway.
Yeah, it's all good in the middle.
No, but like just what was it? This month alone, was it this month or last month? I was at Foam. I was at Zero Gravity. I was at
Speckled Pig.
Speckled Pig.
Yeah.
What's the Sound of Music? The Sound of Music people.
Van Trapp.
Von Trapp.
You went to Von Trapp?
I went to Von Trapp.
That is
Phenomenal. They had some really talk about good pilsners.
Besides the brewery that I'm currently working at, that is
Yeah.
my favorite brewery.
Oh, really?
I love
so obviously
the Von Trapp
you've been,
brewery. Yes.
Yeah, good
Just a
people.
big
over
musical
there.
guy.
Yeah.
That's
Does.
definitely. Yep.
Does.
That was
Does.
the reason. Yep.
The hills are alive.
And where I was at, what else is out that way?
Oh, the Alchemist is up there.
I went to the Alchemist.
Oh, wow. You know what?
Fiddlehead,
That's in Shelburne.
Shelburne. That's where
Just out the
Foam is.
Burlington.
Just outside. They
Yeah.
get the museum there with the big boat sitting in the middle of the museum.
Have you been
Beautiful
to Foam,
spot.
which is right
No,
there?
I've been to
That
Unified
place was
recently,
fun.
which
you were supposed to get some contact info.
yeah, I totally blew that
Yeah,
off.
I knew you would.
Oh, the guys up at Unified do a great job too.
I got to reach out to them. I
They're
want
awesome.
to get them on the podcast.
Oh, please do.
There's no reason why we don't have them.
Yep.
Single Cut North. We've done Active Ingredient, which is
so
it's
Active
embarrassing.
Ingredients right there.
Yeah, it's embarrassing that
Yeah.
not. Don't get me wrong. I love the guys over at Active Ingredient. Nate and Brian, they're phenomenal
Oh, yeah.
people. But for the fact that we've talked to them, but we haven't talked to Unified is a crime.
Ran into those guys at the Brewers Conference.
Yes.
They're awesome people.
Good people.
Have you been out to Indian Ladder?
No.
No, that's something we definitely want to do.
Yeah.
So
Feed the goats.
Yeah, see the goats. Absolutely. the brewer out there, Scott Veltman, he's a trip, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna love him.
Good.
So yeah,
I feel like talking to him. Remember the guy? Remember when we did the Troy Beer Hall, the vegan place? Remember the cook? Not the cook.
Was it
but
the one that had just the
the botanist? They didn't have. They were vegan.
But it was
was that
they had
guy's
the
name?
whiskeys?
Oh, no, they didn't have
My
whiskey.
memory. It was near the one across from Brown's.
Across from Browns and
Oh, it had all the plants in it.
had all the plants.
Yes, I do remember that.
Remember their head botanist guy?
Yes.
Like I feel like that's.
I was drinking then, so my memory is real bad.
No, he was a great Bill. I want to say his name was. I could be wrong, but he was a great character. I feel like that's like what I would get at Indian Ladder. But I could be wrong.
there's something for everybody out
Yeah.
there. If we're spending the rest of the time talking up other local businesses here, but
Yeah,
No, let's
they'll get their own shot.
Yeah.
let's talk about Stella. Where can give us your social media links? I want to know where we can
Yeah,
find
of course. Stellapastabar.com. You can check out the menus at the bottom of any page of our website. You can follow that newsletter. I shoot an email out every Tuesday, tell you what's coming up during the week, what's the specials on the Bistro menu during the week, the weekend entrees. They're exclusive to Fridays and Saturdays. On Instagram, Stella Pasta Bar and 7 Points Brewery.
All right.
One of each. Same thing on Facebook.
Do you have a list of the beers on that as well?
Right on
'Cause I was
the-
just about to say, if you don't
On
have
the website, I think the latest round needs to get added on. Now
All right.
that we dropped that, I'll be doing that tonight. But
we've been hitting them hard and heavy lately too. So,
yeah, we want
yeah.
the as a new establishment. We've been Stella since 2016, but we're in a new neighborhood, a incredible new building
You made a
with the
big
new
splash.
brewery attached. Exactly. We want to get as many eyes, on us as we can. My goal for the first calendar year is butts in the seats. Simply
for sure.
getting people in. We have an amazing new bar menu.
Yeah.
It's coupled with our happy hour deals. The Prima Vista and the Stellar Magnitude are buy one get one, 4 to 7 o'clock Tuesday through Friday. $2 off any other brew.
Great deal.
Yeah, and then some awesome specials on the homemade pasta. Appetizers are all $6 a pop during happy hour. It's we want it to be a fun, kind of space where people can come check out the quality that we have here, both at the bar, brewery, and you like the happy hour stuff. Hopefully, you bring your neighbors in on a Friday night, 7:30 for a nice dinner. Buy my entrees and dessert, and then it all comes out.
For anybody who's reluctant if you've never had homemade pasta, let me
Another
say
world.
that it is a world of difference between
How much are you
regular
paying
pasta.
us to be here today?
I'm just saying,
Freebies, baby.
Yeah,
if
we're not getting
anybody
paid a cent.
is even reluctant, has never had homemade pasta, you need to come down here and
Yeah, if
try
you
it,
haven't been
because
here
it is- it is worlds better than any
Phenomenal.
other pasta.
Get the
Once
cannolis.
you have it, you'll just be like,
Get the
I
pasta.
can't believe I ever ate regular pasta.
Yeah,
before."
coming out of a box, it's
Yeah.
it's just
It's just so different. People just don't realize their whole youth. They grew up. I was the same way. I grew up, with regular pasta out of
Borelli.
out of the box.
They do a great job,
There's
but-
nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's great.
It is what it
But
is.
when you try, when you compare that to the same
real-
thing,
yeah.
when somebody just made homemade pasta, you're just like,
Were you special
it's-
Kappa?
the cavatelli,
Cav-
which is the one with
yeah.
the ricotta cheese in the dough, and then the linguine, the tagliatelle.
Well,
Cavadillo.
Cavadilles.
Cavadilles.
That's a Schenectady.
The
That's a,
Cavadillo.
yeah, that's a Schenectady. Yeah, the Cavatelli is a Schenectady.
a staple.
Yeah,
When when you go to any of the Italian festivals, that's what you get for your pasta for the most part.
but the thin, the wide like
the tagliatelle is the
tagliatelle.
ribbon noodle
Yeah,
pasta.
which
I think
you
that
do
has
very
the best,
very well.
best kind of like just like a little
Depth.
chew to it. It's
Yeah.
got the density. It really soaks up all the sauce. It's quality stuff, man.
Yeah.
Guys,
Hungry, man.
They know what they're doing in the kitchen, And like we said, told Brian, just want to match the quality coming out of the kitchen from the brewery. That's what we've been doing right off the rip here.
Yeah, man.
And
Now you guys have been
good
really
fit.
good to me in that respect. I gotta
Do you
give
have?
credit.
Do you do both like red and white sauces?
yeah, we have an excellent Alfredo sauce. We have marinara meat sauce.
What
Our-
about like Fra Diavolo or?
We do
what
it.
else am I thinking of?
We do a Fra Diavolo special. That's like based on our pomodoro sauce, which is
Okay.
like a special too as well. Chunks of tomato, garlic.
Well, and the only reason I'm asking is because when you start getting into those sauces, it's just like wines. You can pair your beers, of
course,
with obviously, and we did this before. Sometimes you don't always want to go with one style. You can mix it up. Sometimes you want a sweet beer or a dry beer, depending on what it is. And a red sauce, can go really well with like darker beer.
Yeah.
But also if you're feeling like a pilsner where you want something refreshing with that. I'm not really experienced in the pairing thing, but that's definitely something that you like if you have planned can really be a big deal in terms of people saying, "Oh, I want to try this, but I also want they got a great
Just-
beer."
it's like such a natural link between the two.
Exactly. It
And
doesn't have to be wine.
with the goodbye, my girlfriend's leaving. With what we're doing, the dining experience is kind of one aspect, the bar brewery another, upstairs with the event space another, and they're all meant to kind of be standalone things, but supported by each other and all owned, operated under the same roof. And yeah, to link the beer and the food, it's definitely something we're gonna have a plan. We do a lot of private events over here.
Nice.
We've started offering, people are planning like a per head food budget, and then you get talking about drinks, and in addition to like an open bar, we offer another level which is just called like open kegs.
Yeah.
And you can pay it per person, and you have like all you can drink beers at a
Nice.
more reasonable price, because when you're producing everything in the back,
If I ever get married, which I never will, but if I ever get married, 'cause
Wow,
I
you
can't.
really are
I
crushing
can't-
her
Not
today.
what
Wow.
I heard.
I can't imagine the best.
And you just announced that in public.
I can't imagine the beautiful Jessica who's checked in with calling the guy.
I see your
over-
phone's ringing right now. She was listening.
Well, she is. She
I know.
she checked in with the guy from the Troy.
We got comments.
Troy City Beer Hall.
Right.
Yeah, whatever it is. No, Troy Beer Hall. She says that his name is the Mushroom
Throwing
Guy.
it out
That
there.
is not his name, the Mushroom Guy.
I don't. That doesn't ring a
Mushroom
bell.
guy.
But is she really
I'd
listening
like to
to us
meet
right
him.
now?
Yeah, what's
Yes,
this
Because
info?
if she is, you're going to be getting a phone call real soon after that comment.
No, don't call me.
Call him, Jess. Call him.
No,
dare
actually,
you.
Jess, when can we come here next? Because I'm.
make your reservations.
How can somebody make a reservation?
Give us a call. All
Give me a call.
reservations are right on the phone, kind of old school that way.
Is
That's
it
the best
every
way.
day or is it?
You know what? We have such a great relationship with Proctor's,
Yep.
which I'm happy to say. It could be 4:45 to 5 o'clock on a Wednesday, and I could be filled up. You
Yeah.
never really know. So
Yeah.
I always suggest them.
Do it.
It's right above the phone. The phone number on the website says
Yeah.
reservations highly suggested.
We set a reservation. We sat down with Nick. We got here early. Got 15 minutes early.
Well,
I
take
sat down
advantage
with
of happy
Nick.
hour.
Yeah,
Yes.
we had a couple different beers to try real quick
great.
before we sat down. And that's what. If you do have a couple minutes, get here early. Sit down, have a conversation with Nick. He'll tell you about the beers.
Soak in some of that old school classic
Yeah.
bar, man. It's
We're gonna
so
try and get him
beautiful.
over here for 2 seconds. Hey, Nick. Nick.
He might be. He's just talking to my friends. That's like all
Oh,
over the bar.
gotcha.
Get him over here.
Nick, we need you for 2 seconds.
Come say hello.
Yeah.
So yeah, over by the, you know.
Yeah, come have a conversation with Nick. Nick will tell you about the beers before you actually sit down. Here you go, Nick. That's your microphone.
Nick,
Cool,
introduce
how you doing,
yourself,
guys?
man. Yeah.
My name's Nick here. I help assist in the brewing of all this awesome beer with Brian
do.
here.
His turn-ons are.
Help run the bar as well.
Do you like long walks on the beach?
He's showing me the ways here.
Ah.
I'm learning a lot from him. But,
No, it's actually telling our listeners if they're going to set a reservation, get here 15 minutes early. Sit down, have a conversation with you. I came here when you guys first opened up. I had a conversation, me and the beautiful Jessica. We talked about different types of beers that you had coming in. It's a good way to start before you sit down and look at the menu.
yeah, for sure. And I mean, especially on every weekday, we got the happy hour. You can come get a $2 off beer with me, or buy one get one free, and then go sit down. That's great. You know, save some money, get to hang out, get a little different
Sets the scene,
vibe
man.
at the bar, and then go and get a little fancier. You know, sit down and relax a bit. But yeah, you get the best of both worlds that way.
What's the first when somebody comes in and says, I don't know what to try? What's the first beer that you point? What direction you point them in?
I mean, I usually ask them what they would normally drink.
For sure.
Go
That's
with
a good
that. But some people like to say what they don't like.
Yep.
I usually point them to
Base something
Pilsner
up.
at that point.
Yeah.
Like say
I don't like
coffee, but-
IPAs. I don't like Pilsner.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like,
it.
okay.
I like
you know,
It's almost an
Budweiser.
Figure
easier
you
question
out.
in the beer world nowadays. What don't you like?
Yeah.
You know?
We always
For me,
find
that's
some-
what it is.
Yeah.
Honestly, but it's awesome having the little flight cups. You know, we
for
will
sure.
sling samples. Let's find what you like.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's
Keep
the
trying
important
until
thing.
you find something.
Bingo.
Yeah, you can always try free sip. Yeah.
What's your favorite?
Stellar Magnitude. I am a sucker for the Juicy Hazy Boys.
We still
but,
haven't tried that one. All right, when we get off this podcast, I'm going to try it.
All right. I twist my arm.
Pulling my leg.
That's the tribute to Sleep Juice.
Yes.
But that Dionysus
I mean, it's
is a
Sleep
close
Juice Bomb.
second, and the Bacchus too. They're equal with me.
Oh, the
Those
Bacchus.
two
How-
super unique sours.
So the Bacchus is the
same
we
thing.
didn't,
That's
we
fun.
didn't
That's
talk
a
about
gold
this
medal one.
earlier, but this is the
it's the
Bacchus is actually
Merlot
a red
version.
wine,
The red
or
wine
Merlot
version.
grape version of the white wine set.
It's the Merlot of beers.
Dude, don't give me that kind of phrase. I don't even know what that means.
Well, hey, if Miller can take the champagne of beers, you can have the Merlot of beers.
Or the Merlot.
It's all you.
What does that mean? Yeah, or the
We are
Corsair
trademarking
beers,
that. The Merlot of beers.
Do it.
Aspen.
I don't
Where
think
the
you'll have
beer
anybody
flows like
competing
wine.
for that.
I hope not. Good God.
It's good stuff. It's a good relationship. You know, it's really exciting to take this forward. You know, quality. That's what I want people to think of when they're coming here. And we're gonna keep pushing the limits, man.
Awesome. Well, let's wrap it up on that note.
Yeah.
You have
I
any
think that's
final thoughts?
I do not.
Anything you guys want to say to
we
our
discussed-
listeners before we get off?
Watch out for ghosts.
Follow the socials. Come on down. We like having. I will sit down and chat with you for an hour if you were just a customer. I do
He
this
will.
all the time. This
He
is
will.
very
It's
natural
true.
to me.
Seen it.
So come on down. Let's chat.
Yeah, just the conversation with Chris alone is worth it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for checking in.
Amazing.
And Brian, I can't wait for the invitation to your wedding.